Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our live cast, the Institute of Metaphysical Science. We are a nonprofit organization. And today, and if you want to learn more about the Institute, we have a website at scientificmetaphysics.org. So today we're going to continue our exploration of the booklet called Personal Concept. And that booklet is available through the IMS website. And you can just go there and you can look in our store, and the Personal Concept booklet can be ordered directly from there. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Betty, and we're going to start the conversation.
Okay. So I just wanted to back up for a second into the last time we talked, and we ended with the sentence, call the manifestation of mind what you will, but your own being as idea or awareness as knowledge is the life of all that lives or seems to live. Because it ties right into the way we begin today with the sentence that says, knowledge of the real is the real, demonstrated as reception. Let me read that again. Knowledge of the real is the real, demonstrated as reception. There's just one action, one thing going on. So when you are living as understanding or living as fully aware, that awareness itself is the demonstration of reality present. Okay, so the practice of science, excuse me, is the translation of the language of personal sense, the seeming, as we call it, which is merely a finite view, into the language of soul, which is being, or the infinite view. That was a quote from Science and Health by Mary Baker Eddy.
When we talk about the seeming, say a little bit more. Say a little bit more about that. Because when it says the language of personal sense, the seeming, which is merely a finite view. So say a little bit more about that. Make it, like, what is that in my living every day? What is that?
Everyday living, we see, hear, feel, taste, and touch, all the stuff around us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, science is saying, hey, that stuff is language. It's something that seems to be, but it isn't actually what it seems to be. It doesn't exist as a thing. It's a point of view. It's a concept of what's really present.
So it's my best view of the one reality present.
That's right. Well said.
All right, great. So no matter the circumstances that I've got, no matter what I'm facing in my life, even my judgments, opinions about what I'm looking at, that's all part of the language view. It's all what we could also call fiction, but it's just my point of view of the one reality that's present.
That's right. And the next sentence says that.
Okay. All right. Let's look at that.
I mean, it's just exactly what you're saying. Reality, idea, is the origin of every concept.
Okay.
So reality present is seen by each one in understandable language for them. Mm-hmm. What you see and what I see may not be the same, but the reality present is the same.
Right.
You simply see it from your perspective. I see it from where I'm standing.
Yes. Okay, good. Very good.
Okay. So if the language or the map used is an old map, a traditional one, for instance, something I've held on to for a long time.
Right.
The map is necessary to the idea in my belief. But if I hang on to that, I'm stuck with the map. And what I'm really wanting to do is say, where's this going? What is present? Where's the map taking me? What's it opening up for me? So in a way, the word map is another word for what we've been calling language.
Mm-hmm. So or it's my belief system, isn't it?
Yep. It's all belief.
And there was a really cool quote from the book you're reading about tradition. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Do you want to hear it now?
Yeah, why not?
You know, when you talk about preferring something because it's always the way it's been done and it's tradition. I was reading a novel today, had a great sentence about tradition. And if I can read it here somewhere, I wrote it down. Where did I put it?
I put you
Well,
on the
anyway,
spot.
I can remember it. It's talking about a traditionalist. It says if you're a traditionalist, you are committed to having dead people control your life.
Huh? Because it's all in the past.
Yeah.
Rather
Well,
than exploring and inventing the future, or being open to whatever the future, what could unfold.
well, it's not being open to what's real right now.
Got it. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm stuck with the way they did it 100 years ago or 50 years ago or even last week. But I'm not awake or alert or aware of what's present right the moment I'm living, which is right now, right now, right now. Yeah.
Exactly. And if I can let go of my judgments and opinions and everything else about the view that I'm looking at, the world that I walk through, if I can let go for a moment of my beliefs and judgments and opinions, then that allows solutions to emerge or answers to show up, or myself being open to whatever is available, rather than me holding things in place because of my belief. Is that a good way to say it? There's probably a better way to say it, but.
Okay. The thing that you don't want to get stuck with is thinking that something you're doing is separating you from reality.
Mm-hmm.
It is not ever separating you from reality, because reality present is what has you occur.
Right.
But your experience of the peace and joy and power that's inherent in being real is missing because you're unaware.
Okay.
Because
I'm believing that picture I'm seeing.
You're blinded by your belief in the way you see it. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
If the language or the map used is an old one, and that's why where we got into tradition, you get to the mindset, if I can call it that the map, the language, the way I have always seen it is the only way it can be. And that must be real. In which case you are dealing with fiction and you're not in touch with what's going on.
Right.
And
when I get stuck into that, then I feel trapped. I almost feel like there's no joy or whatever. There can be, you know what I mean?
Well, it isn't sustainable. It
Okay.
isn't, your joy isn't sustainable in fiction. Mm-hmm. You may smile and have a good time for a short time, but there's nothing to build on because it's a belief. It's not a fact.
Okay.
So, you know, we wander in and out of our view of ourselves, and we wander in and out of our willingness to have it occur unplanned, unoutlined, unforeseen. We don't like standing on the brink of the unknown. Mm-hmm. Which is where you have to stand if you're going to be with reality, because it always is right now and it's gone, and right now and it's gone, right now and it's gone. So living with reality as your frame of reference, you never know what the next moment is going to be.
Right, because you're present right now. You're present right now, and being present in the moment, rather than with a past or with an opinion or anything. Now you're ready for any of that unfoldment and whatever.
And for a moment, you see, you've let go of what that immediate past looked like.
Yeah.
You just let it go.
Yeah.
And that opens you to a new, brand new being real.
And that all can occur in an instant, in that willingness in an instant, in that acknowledgement in an instant. Yes?
Yes, and reality is timeless.
Yeah.
But it's always what's present right now, since there is no dragging of the past.
Correct.
Right now is real. right
So
now.
if I have an experience of dragging of the past, that's my own beliefs and opinions about what it is I'm seeing.
And then I'm a two-legged animal living in time, and it takes a bit to do this, and I have to figure that out, and it
Right.
can't happen until next week. And, you know,
Yes.
I don't feel good today, but because I don't feel good today, I can't go to work this week, you know?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So the real joy in letting go of all that stuff is that you, for the first time, get a taste of being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's no small item. You know, man is the expression of God's being. Man is the action of God. So a taste of that is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So it says, Mrs. Laird wrote The Personal Concept, and she said, in the belief that things are things instead of thoughts, the only language to identify the fact that thoughts are things is the belief about it, fading, disappearing. I lost my place in where I was reading.
That would be line 25, in the belief.
Yeah, I know. The seeming disappearance of things. Things are not destroyed, and this will be seen as the erroneous theory of duality yielding to truth. Man experiences the self-preserving power of spiritual understanding. Now, those are a lot of words, but what we really want to feel or see or look at with ourselves is aliveness, being consciously alive, spontaneous, free, open, joyous, satisfied, fulfilled, feeling whole, feeling like nothing's missing. In any situation in my human living, when I feel uncertain, it's because I have Betty on my mind and think that Betty has to figure something out and has to be appropriate and all that stuff. But the moment I let go of that and really become conscious of the ideas being expressed and live with the ideas, there's a whole freedom, a whole way to be that's open, that's responsive, that is innovative, that can immediately move into a decisive resolution of whatever's in front of me.
Yeah.
So it's a powerful tool, this thing about practicing being present.
Yes.
You know, I really when you take a look at tradition, when I read that paragraph, I read that sentence, and I knew I was working on this for tonight. I suddenly got a sense of, you know, I like certain kinds of art. And it isn't that I don't like other kinds, but I have favorites, you know. And I got to looking at them and I thought, oh my goodness, talk about a tradition, talk about stuck in a system of the past. And I thought, I've always looked at really, really modern art. I like the color. Sometimes I like the design, but I don't get any real relatedness with it. And I thought, well, how can you? You want it to look like what you call real. And what you call real is stuck in tradition because everything else doesn't have any picture to it at all.
Right.
And so it really opened me up to being willing to take another look at modern art.
Yeah.
You know, I really, there's a statement being made. What is that statement? Well, if I'm expecting it to look like something I've already seen, where am I? I'm not open to what's present.
Right.
So it affects that. And I thought there probably are areas of the way I dress and areas of the way I like to behave and jobs I like and books I read and you name it.
Right.
And most of it is stuck in the past.
Right. And this is really getting clarity on your sense of self.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, who am I being? Am I being Betty or am I being myself?
Right. And being myself,
With
capital
a capital
S,
S. Yeah.
self, right?
Yeah.
Because it is that. It's that limitless,
Yep.
that limitless being that is present. And this is just the expression of it
This is
in
the moment.
language.
Just like a clip of a hand.
That's
It
right.
doesn't last any longer. And it doesn't have any shelf life, this belief system about me. It's gone and it's back, and it's gone and it's back, and it's gone and it's back.
Right.
It's right now, right now, right now, right now. Clicking your finger isn't even fast enough at how fast it disappears and reappears.
Right.
So,
and that brings me to this quote, which is, until a clear distinction occurs between fictitious appearances and facts of being, you automatically stand in the victim role. Say more about that, because that's super powerful. Because when you get, oh my God, to stand there in the fiction of what I'm seeing and thinking it's real, I'm a victim of that which I'm observing.
Yep. That which I'm believing.
Yeah. And then it's like being a billiard ball, and it's just like, boom, and you're just ricocheting wherever, and it's, who knows, right? And so if you want dominion, you want that freedom, and the power that comes with that would be aligned with the facts of being.
Okay.
Right? Like, would be to acknowledge that, leave it alone and acknowledge the facts.
Well, the thing that occurs to me is, if I'm stuck with believing that I'm Betty, and trusting that, I'm letting myself down on all fronts. I'm being a victim of a belief in who I am, and not at all present to what's possible or what's actually going on. I'm living in the past, whether I know it or not. And when you live in the past, you're a victim of all those beliefs that go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear, look what happened yesterday. Look what happened last night. Look what happened last year. Look what happened when I was 3 years old. Look what happened when I got scolded because. Look what happened when I lost that job. And I'm racking up all the stuff about a past that's gone, but not allowed to lose itself.
Right.
I'm hanging on to it. To the degree that I do that, I'm not being myself at all.
Right. And you're also not free.
Yeah, there's no freedom in that.
Yeah.
The thing about being that is so helpful, actually, just even hearing this is helpful. But the thing about freedom with being is that it is always whole. It's always complete. It's always fulfilling. It's always satisfying. It's always amazing. And if I don't have that going on in my experience, guess what? It's like something tapping on me saying, Betty, wake up.
Right.
Because there is no possibility. You know, I was watching a week or two, 10 days ago or something, when we sent the NASA fellas up to the space station. And I thought, that's not possible in the belief of me. But it's absolutely like everyday stuff in the reality present. It has one thing going on. Mm-hmm. Full and unrestricted and unrestrained and available to whatever, and in good shape. The freedom of that is hard to express. The part of that freedom is, for instance, all of those old beliefs you've got about how you always behave, how you always like this and not that, how you always want to go here and not there. All of that stuff falls by the wayside, and you're amazed at how much you enjoy every minute when you drop all that stuff.
Right.
Because every minute is a brand new beginning. Every day is a world made new. Every instant is a world made new.
Yeah.
And I miss it when I'm busy playing with Betty.
Exactly. So that's very good. Now, before we end, I do have some questions that were texted to me to handle on the live cast tonight. Was a request or live stream. So first of all, is a question about how did the live cast go? So we just had a 2 half-day live cast this past weekend. And so the question is, well, how'd it go? And I would say it went really well. I mean, I thought, one of the best, and we're going to have the recordings available through the store at the scientificmetaphysics.org probably in the next few weeks for people if you'd like to listen to them. But what was your sense of it, Mom?
Well, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I enjoyed every single one. Everybody participated. It was great fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Now, number 2 question. What's your top recommended book for new students to metaphysical science?
Well, actually, to be truthful with you, Mind is the Athlete.
Okay. And Mind is the Athlete is a book
We
written by Betty.
Well, we have an introductory course that's based on that, and it's introducing the science of metaphysics.
That's right. It's our home study. It's our home study program, and it's completely comprehensive. And you get videos actually delivered right now as DVDs that you put into your DVD player or into your computer, and you can watch them. And there's a workbook and everything, and it takes you right through with Mind as the Athlete as a text. So you get the homework, and you actually get to engage with all of the lessons that were actually done live originally. And so you have all that video, and you get to watch it and walk through that.
Well, the reason I recommend that book is, believe it or not, this is funny because I don't think that's necessarily a simple book to read. I did think it was, but everybody tells me I'm nuts. But that book I wrote because I wanted to explain to somebody what it was I was up to. Mm-hmm. And I did it as simply as I could. I took up each thing carefully. And so you get, it sort of is like a step-by-step introduction into what scientific metaphysics is all about. And from there, you graduate into Margaret's stuff, which is really not simple, but it is simple when you get the rhythm.
Right down to it. Yeah, right down to it. Okay, very good. Now what's your first memory or experience of when you knew you had grasped the knowing of science?
I guess you're talking about me personally.
Yeah. I can say when I got it, but I want to hear, it's a question about you.
Well, I think it had to be when I was like 15 years old and in Sunday school. Okay. And I had a Sunday school teacher who knew Margaret Laird and introduced me to her presentation of ideas. And we got into real discussions way back then. And I was, there were no holes barred. We just talked about everything. And I did get the flavor of, oh my gosh, this is what's really going on. And I was hooked, I just went for it. But it's not something that you conquer overnight. You have to deal with yourself and your belief about yourself all the time. Right. Because, you're hooked on, oh my goodness, I was a little kid and I grew up here and that's my mother and that's my father and I've got brothers and sisters and I go to school and I do this and I do that and it's me, believing that the thing you're looking at in the mirror is the me. And what I discovered when I was 15 is that just may not be the way it is. And I was fascinated.
Right. Now let's take that another step further and say, but then when you were 16, your mama died.
17.
When you were 17, your mom died. Yeah. And what did that do for all of this? Because you went into a real question. If science was valid and all of that, how could your mama die?
Well, that's a long story. You sure you want me to
give me the little bird's eye view of that? Because I think it's valid. It's like you have things that actually have you question. that. And what you went around about too, to come back to see that science is valid and has then served you for all these years, which is no small number of years.
Yep, I did.
You know?
I decided that at the time that happened, I really decided that if science wasn't helpful to my mother, it wasn't going to be helpful to me either. The heck with it. So I went my own way. And I spent the next couple of years actually exploring what was possible, what was available. I went to a lot of different churches. I read a lot of different books. I talked to a lot of different people. And I went all the way around Robin Hood's barn. And I ended up saying, you know, I haven't found anything as good as what I was in. And I don't think that's any good. So where am I now? But I had this same Sunday school teacher that I'd known all these years. And I just went back and started talking to her. And she says, you know, Betty, it may be that there isn't anything wrong with the science. It may be that you have a perception of the science that isn't valid. And I said, well, what am I going to do about that? And they said, well, you're going to have to knuckle down and figure out what is actually true. Yeah. And I said, and how do I know what's actually true? I can theorize, and I'm not dumb, but how do I know? And they said, demonstration.
Yeah.
If you can free yourself or resolve a problem from standing by with the facts of who you are and letting go of the Betty belief, that'll tell you whether it's valid or not. So when you actually demonstrate to yourself that it makes a difference in your living, to recognize that mind is actually a God idea, universally present. It's not a little thing going on in the brain. And that just having that rule the roost instead of you're trying to figure it out intellectually and then see a solution appear. And pretty soon you say, hey, you know, okay. It probably came strongly through with physical healing in the early days. Because if I got a cold and I couldn't go to school and I wasn't going to pass my exam and that kind of stuff, I was really concerned because I was on a budget and so on, going through college. And I remember being able to say, I remembered my mother saying to me when I had an earache, you know, I didn't want to go to school. My ear hurts. Mother said, well, all right, dear. And she got me ready for school. And then as we got ready to go to school, she says, now you can walk to school this morning, can't you? And I said, yes. And as I walked out the door, she says, you know, you don't have to take that earache all the way to school with you. And when I got to school and stepped on the playground, that earache was gone. And I remembered things like that from growing up. And I thought, there's something here I'm missing. And that got me into studying.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
And then when did you let go of the formal church experience, because this was all the Christian Science church, but when did you let go of the formal church experience?
Well, I dropped away from the Christian Science church when I was about 35.
Okay. And why did you do that?
Because they did not approve of the things I was reading, and they have a bunch of rules about all of that stuff and what you could and could not do. And I knew that that had nothing to do with science. And I didn't play in that game.
Right. And then the next question is, how can people get on our mailing list for upcoming events? And all you have to do is go out to scientificmetaphysics.org and you can join our mailing list. So again, you can go out to scientificmetaphysics.org and join our mailing list. And we will be doing this again next week at the same time, same bat channel, here at 7 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. And where we're going to do this, continue to do this every week, and have these conversations. So right now I want to thank you, Betty. Thank you, everybody who's been on. Appreciate it all. Send all your comments and questions in. You can enter them into the question and the comments, and we're happy to answer them and take them up, just like I just did here. And we look forward to seeing you and engaging with you next week And if you want more between then and now, go out to scientificmetaphysics.org. We're a nonprofit organization, and there's a lot available out there to continue your exploration. So thank you so much, and thank you very much, Mom.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.